Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. So, welcome to this session. This session is about challenges for higher education. It's not a demo, it's not a startup pitch, but I'm quite happy that this is in the demo stage because we can demonstrate what we do with higher education and whether it works or not. So first of all, I'm from the institution that's called EIT Digital. And basically what we're doing, we seed small Silicon Valleys in Europe. It's not rocket science, it's not new, everybody is doing the same. But our philosophy is that we put together startups, large corporates, and education. And all I want to explain to you today is how it works. How it works from the higher education point of view. So first of all, you can see there are news, there are talks on education every day, especially when we are on elections. So every day you can see that the politicians are talking what to do with education, how to make it right, how to make it profitable, how to make it efficient. We compare ourselves to Finland. So every day you have a newspaper article, newspaper about that. And I'm not going to solve that problem by any way. It's no way to do that. But I want to explain you what are the challenges and how we tackle with them and how we deal with them. So first of all is the STEM or not STEM challenge. You know what STEM means. Everybody of you do understand acronym STEM. STEM comes from science, technology, and math. And somehow the industrial revolution that is going on is demanding professional with STEM. And it doesn't seem to be very important until my own son, that is 13, asked me, "Hey, Daddy, I want to study humanity." And it's like, oh, I'm from STEM, my wife is from STEM, and suddenly we have a family crisis. What to do? We need to convince our kids that he needs to study STEM somehow. So, but the first answer was, don't worry, Martin, study whatever you want, but we need to convince you somehow on the behind. So the first challenge is whether it really makes sense to study STEM or not to study STEM. If you have attended the South Summit last year, there was a talk by Sir Ken Robinson. I'm not sure you know him. And he has a very strong opinion on whether to study STEM or not to study STEM. The second challenge is about whether higher education is one shot, so you go to the university and you can live the entire life on what you have studied, or it's lifelong. I think you may guess what will be the answer. A third one is how the university compare to this new platform on learning like Coursera, like the massive online education platforms. So let's go with the first one. These are some statistics. Even in Spain, when we have a very high unemployment ratio, there are lack of STEM people. There's a lack, I think it's about 10,000 people from STEM are missing in the industry in Spain. And in Europe, it's even worse. But if you go deeper in these statistics, it does not apply to whole STEM. It just applies to computer science. If you are an architect or you are a civil engineer, it's not so easy to get a good job in Europe. It takes you some time. And also, we need to think that, okay, if the Sir Ken Robinson is right and STEM is because we have industrial revolution, what will happen once the revolution is over? Do we need to educate machines that do industrial work forever, or it will end at some point? So this is the question between we need to be labor-centered or we need to focus on the student. This is our experience. We have STEM people. We have people that are studying computer science, telecommunication, industrial engineering, and so on. And they are about 80%, they have a ratio of 80% employment. So they find the first employment in the 80% of the cases just after the graduation. We have seen that we are going for the T-shaped profiles. That means that you have very deep technical knowledge, and you put a small layer on entrepreneurship on top of it. If you look at the Forbes list on millionaires, most of them are this profile. Most of them have technical background, and they are knowledgeable in entrepreneurship. They do know how to make a pitch. That's just what we have seen in the previous session. They know how to learn profit and lose. So they are knowledgeable in this sense. So that's what we are doing, and that's what business schools are doing, many of them. Also, there is a new term that is called STEAM. It's science, technology, art, and math. And they do add some humanity skills into the STEM. And we also have cases like this. For instance, if we have specialists in artificial intelligence, there are companies demanding profiles that would understand the ethic of artificial intelligence. And it's not STEM at all. It's coming from the philosophical area. So you can see that even the industry is going out of the STEM thanks to the progress of artificial intelligence. Lifelong. So I would say that it's quite easy to understand that you need to learn the whole life, unless you have studied COBOL. You know what the COBOL is? Any of you? All the banks, all the core are programmed in COBOL, and it's language about 30 or 40 years old. If you know it, you have lifelong job, and your salary will even increase because the people that know COBOLs are dying. So unless you are in this case, you definitely need to go for lifelong learning. So you have a bachelor, you have master, PhD, blah, blah, blah. You can spend the whole life learning. And it's a challenge for universities. They are not prepared to do that. They are not prepared. The university stops some here. Then you need to do MBA, summer schools, professional schools, and so on. So you can spend your whole life learning, but it will not be the university who will help you in this case. And that's why there is another challenge for the university. The own university needs a digital transformation. They need to get prepared to this. And they are not so well prepared. First of all, they are under big pressure. I started this talk that every day in País, they have every day news on education and pressure on education. If you look, I think just right now there is another talk on the main stage on education, whether STEM or not STEM. So you can see there's a lot of pressure on top of that. And the university, they have a kind of schizophrenia, because I think most of you understand that universities are education institutions, but also you can think that universities are research institutions, or you can say the universities are innovation institution, knowledge transfer institution. This is a form you need to fill up when you apply for the professor position at the university. This is ANECA, it's a public agency, and if you see how do they score your experience, you see that almost 70% of your experience goes to research. Only 30% goes to teaching, and only 3% goes to some kind of innovation. So the own university human resources strategy is not on learning, it's on research. They are mainly research institutions. So they need to focus whether they want to spend the resources on research, on learning, or on innovation. So that was my talk. It was very quick. I don't want to waste your time. This is our experience on how we deal with getting close to the industry. This is the same philosophy as the art craft was doing with the apprentice. So you have the apprentice very close to the production. You have the apprentice very close to the master. It's like Jedi and Padawans. So they are close to each other and they learn. So in our organization, we put startups, we put industry close to the students, and there is a continuous dialogue between them, and then they learn as they go. So thank you very much, and if you have questions, we are here for you. Che tal?